So, good afternoon and welcome to today's Uplift with Vision. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Reverend Jeanne Phillips, and I'm very happy to share this time with you from my home. So, with tomorrow being Thanksgiving, I thought it would be a good time to reflect on the power of gratitude. The power of gratitude. Sounds good, huh? But as always, let's begin in prayer. And so just lifting up this prayer of thanksgiving, being so grateful for this time, this place, this opportunity to reflect, to be together, to be uplifted. Just knowing that the divine is right here, right now, in us, as us, for us, with us, operating always, everywhere, seeking always a greater expression of itself. Yes, a greater expression of love and of peace and of harmony. And for this, we are so immensely grateful. So grateful for the ways that it shows up in our life, all the many, many ways. And so it is with this grateful heart, I simply release these words. Allow it to be. Amen. Yeah, so here we are. Thanksgiving 2020. No surprise, it will be like no other, right? Always unique. And for most of us, that's not a welcome change. You know, there is real pain. There is real pain. Pain in the loss of tradition, right? The usual traditions that we have, the loss of connection that we rely on, sharing face to face. Most likely connecting with family and friends will be done virtually, right? FaceTime or Zoom. And the usual Thanksgiving dinner table will be set for a much smaller group, maybe just one or two. Yeah. So that's hard. It's hard and it can hurt. But you know what? It can also shift us to open our hearts ever wider. I think the change can inspire us, maybe to create new traditions. And most importantly, it can remind us about the true meaning of the holiday, right? Giving thanks for all the blessings in our lives. Can also help to remind us that we can be grateful every day, not just on Thanksgiving. And in fact, when we practice gratitude for what we have on a daily basis, great things happen. I want to read to you what Ernest Holmes wrote in The Power of an Idea. He says, gratitude is not only a virtue, but it also is part of a practical philosophy of daily life. He was very much into the practical, right? There is no wiser way of living than to remember every morning what life has given us and to lift up our thought in thankfulness for every bounty we possess. To remember every morning what life has given us and to lift up our thoughts in thankfulness. Yeah, you know, that's our call, really. As religious scientists, we know that our thoughts of lack and limitation, they constrict our lives by keeping us small and fearful. And we also know that recognizing and appreciating the abundant gifts that life has given us creates more expansion, more love, more joy. So how come it's so hard to stay in gratitude? Well, one reason is something called the negativity bias. Basically, what that means is our brains are hardwired to notice what's wrong. back in the hunting and gathering period of our evolution, that was essential to our survival. Our ancestors' very lives depended on noticing what was wrong, what is wrong, and being on the lookout for what might go wrong, like a stalking lion or a poisonous snake, right? So this survival instinct became programmed into our human consciousness. But of course, in today's society, we no longer live with the threat of wild animals around every corner. And yet still this ancient survival mechanism persists. The fact is we're simply programmed to be more aware of what is wrong than what is right. Psychologist Rick Hansen has this analogy. He says, our attention is like a spotlight combined with a vacuum cleaner. Whatever grabs our attention is sucked up into our brain. Or as we say in religious science, what we focus on expands. Right? And the chances are you tend to focus on what's wrong or missing in your life rather than what's right and good. Well, that is negative bias, and we all have that. Hansen says, think of it this way, negative experiences stick to our brain like Velcro, while positive experiences flow through our brain like water over Teflon. I like that. The negative sticks like Velcro, and the positive flows like water over Teflon. Why? Well, because we tend to take our positive experiences for granted. They get lost in the background. Dennis Merritt Jones writes, when we fail to gratefully recognize and celebrate the blessings we do have, they seem to go to waste. They tend to wither up and fall away because there is no affirmative energy wrapping around them. The fact is there is far more positive, healthful, enlivening things that make up our daily life. I mean, everything from paved roads to washing machines, not to mention trees and flowers and fresh air. And don't forget those soft beds at night, right? We may have appreciated them once when they were new to us, but in time, they become invisible, part of the background. And instead, what stands out is the difference, the changes, things that are not the way we were, like this Thanksgiving tomorrow, right? And those we label as negative. And so then that's what gets the glue, the Velcro. So to reverse that, it takes some doing. We must actively work to see, to appreciate, to integrate those positive experiences into our brain. That's how the good can stick and balance out the negative bias that we have. So the question remains, though, how do we do this? How do we do this? And the answer is practicing a daily practice. That's what we need to develop. A practice of being alert to and mindful of the blessings that surround us, all around us, all the time. A gratitude practice redirects our attention and balances it between blessing and difficulty. Practicing gratitude means learning to pay attention to the positive experiences that happen every day. Even simple things like the warmth of the sun on your face, or an unexpected phone call from a friend who wanted to just tell you they're thinking of you. Those are the things that build your gratitude muscle and strengthen your inner resilience as well. There have been a ton of studies on gratitude and how it enhances us mentally, physically, spiritually. Here are just a few of the proven benefits. Greater optimism and happiness, increased self-esteem, heightened energy levels, strengthened heart, lungs, and immune system, decreased blood pressure, decreased stress and anxiety, depression and headaches, improved self-care, and greater likelihood to exercise, heightened spirituality, which is essentially the ability to see something bigger than ourselves. And, there's many more. So how can we cultivate gratitude? Well, again, there's an endless list, but one of the most common methods is by keeping a gratitude journal. And I know you've heard this, but the idea is to record at least 3 positive experiences on a daily basis. Keep your journal at your bedside to write in at the end of every day. You might remember a good meal that you had that day, or a pleasant conversation with a friend that you especially appreciate. Some nights you might write that you're just simply grateful for a roof over your head or for running water. It doesn't matter. That's okay too, as long as you find 3 things to be grateful for. And there are even some apps you can download on your phone that will remind you and will record your list. Research has shown that even 2 weeks of recording experiences that we're grateful for has positive effects that last up to 6 months. So it's powerful. Plus, if you read your list on days when you're feeling low and not so grateful, it becomes a reminder of the good, the God in our lives. So here are some other gratitude exercises you might consider. Saying thank you often, particularly to those who serve you. Linger on thoughts of positive moments from the day. Write a letter of thanks to someone who has made a difference in your life. Express gratitude at meals, whether you're eating alone or with your loved one. Practice not gossiping, complaining, or judging for a day. Then see if you can stretch it for a week, maybe even a month. Write down what you appreciate about yourself. Think about what you're grateful for. And do that before getting out of bed every morning. Each of these exercises can help train our brain for positivity and gratitude. They create new neural pathways to alter the negative habits and to develop a more grateful outlook. I like this quote from Rabbi Harold Kushner. He writes, "If you concentrate on finding what is good in every situation, you will discover that your life will suddenly be filled with gratitude and a feeling that nurtures the soul." Just finding what is good in every situation will fill you with gratitude and nourish your soul. Prayer and meditation are some of the strongest ways to cultivate your gratitude quotient. Because the spiritual truth is we are always and in all ways abundantly blessed, simply by the gift of life itself. God, Spirit, is active in all areas of our life. Its presence and power fills every nook and cranny in every experience and responds to every need. So that's what we give thanks for. And when we do that, our gratitude naturally flows out. It flows out from our hearts to the world, uplifting, and then blessing all of life. That's the power of gratitude. So I'd like to leave you with a meta prayer that I just invite you to carry through your day and in the days to come. It goes like this. May I notice what is good in my life. May I slow down and linger with it. May I remember to give thanks. And may I appreciate the gifts of others. So I'm going to read that again, and I'm going to pause in between and invite you to repeat it along with me. All right. May I notice what is good in my life. May I slow down and linger with it. May I remember to give thanks. May I appreciate the gifts of others. And one more time, just to ground it. May I notice what is good in my life. May I slow down and linger with it. May I remember to give thanks. And may I appreciate the gift of others. Well, I appreciate you sharing your time with me today and joining me. Many blessings and happiness on your Thanksgiving Day. And don't forget to tune in on Friday. There won't be an uplift tomorrow, Thanksgiving, but certainly on Friday. So tune in then. And meanwhile, have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.